Good cold afternoon to 11 Live Weather Impact meteorologist Melissa Nord. It is 2 o'clock and we're talking about the cold Arctic blast that is here. And that's why we issued a weather impact alert, this cold snap, which has arrived finally. And it is here for a very brief 24 hours. The windy, cold conditions are going to stick around through the day today. Then as we head into the overnight tonight, the cold will be at its kind of peak, so to speak. We're going to have our hard freeze across all of North Georgia, ending the growing season. And as this cold air is rushing in, I'm also tracking some snow showers coming into North Georgia. Now, we've been watching a lot of those flurries so far today across the North Georgia mountains, but what I'm actually tracking right now are darkening skies looking north of Georgia 400. We are tracking some of these light flurries and snow showers moving into North Georgia this afternoon, and some of those snow showers may get into far North Georgia, but some of the flurries could get into the north side of the metro. I do not expect any of this to stick and accumulate. They will most likely be kind of melting snowflakes, but watching some of those coming down south near Roswell. So I've been watching radar this afternoon, and this newest wave coming in, producing a couple of flurries in Rome, and we're seeing that evident on our radar right here. You can see also some flurries up across 75 as you're driving north, but where we do expect not just flurries, but some snow showers and some of that snow to stick and accumulate, especially on grassy and elevated surfaces, that's going to be across the higher elevations anywhere in the North Georgia mountains. There is a winter weather advisory in effect until 7 o'clock on Tuesday morning. Well, we will watch up to an inch of snow possible in some of these areas, with the exception of the highest elevations above 3,000 feet, which could end up with over an inch of snow. You can see, I'm going to show you a model comparison. This is first our graph model, which I'll zoom in and you can see it's those highest elevations that pick up a little bit of light snowfall. Here's a different model. This is the HRRR model, which has been going a little bit more aggressive on those snowfall amounts. But the bottom line is this is more of a fluffy, powdery snow and not like big wet snowflakes. They are powdery, fluffy, light in nature. They get blown around by the wind really easily, but eventually if they stick, they could accumulate first on grassy and elevated surfaces, and then if it snows good enough, especially past sunset tonight, some better snow bursts, we could see some of that snow sticking to even some bridges, overpasses, and road surfaces as the temperatures cool off. But to this point, the ground temperatures have been too warm for anything to stick and accumulate. We were just in the 60s yesterday up here. We were in the 70s over the weekend on Saturday. So the ground is really warm still. It takes the ground much longer to cool off than the air takes to cool off. The ground, it's going to trap in that heat. It's going to take longer for it to cool down. So a lot of our road surface temperatures are still looking fine on this Monday afternoon, and it's overnight tonight as we cool off that the road surface temperatures could also get down close to the freezing mark, and that will allow for some slicker spots to develop. Okay, forecast track. Outside right now, we've seen a lot of those flurries around the 2 o'clock hour in northwest Georgia. Around the 11 and 12 o'clock hours today, we were tracking a lot more of those snow showers across northeast Georgia. Watch forecast track bringing in some more of those flurries and snow showers this afternoon. But then as the sun sets, we really start to see more of them picking up. So we're going to be watching all of that playing out this evening between now and really 8 o'clock tonight. And I actually want to take it back to radar and show you what is upstream. It's not a lot upstream, but there are. You can see more snow showers moving across the Tennessee Valley, the I-40 corridor. A lot of these are pivoting towards the higher elevations and the Appalachians and the Blue Ridge, but whatever's near Nashville, that's all going to kind of dive south in towards Georgia. So we are going to be watching some of these snow showers lifting. They get lifted over the higher elevations, and that helps them to actually snow a little bit better. It's orographic lifting. So that could happen later on today. That's why there is the winter weather advisory in effect until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. You can see those dark skies, cloudy skies, kind of building in at times over Atlanta. It's been windy. It's been cold today. This morning we started in the 30s. We got up to 42, and now we've been dropping the last couple of hours. We were at 41 the last hour. Now at 2 o'clock we're down to 39. So we've seen this really cold air. It moved in last night, and now even colder air is moving in during the day today. It's just spilling in this cold, dense air, and as the clouds move in, and the atmosphere is trying to saturate itself, we have what's called as we're trying to saturate, meaning the snow reaching the ground, it's dynamic cooling. It cools the atmosphere. If you imagine the atmosphere as a giant cup or a jar or column of air, it cools our temperatures down. The temperature cools a degree, the dew point comes up a degree. The temperature cools another degree, the dew point comes up another degree, and they have to meet in the middle to saturate. So we're seeing that our column of air is cooling as the snow showers are moving in from the north, and even if we're not seeing that snow reaching the ground here in Atlanta yet, any of the flurries, the temperature is dropping as it starts to move in. So bottom line, it's cold, it's windy out there. Our dew point now is 16. Look at our 24-hour temperature change. 35 degrees colder now on average than it was yesterday at this time. That is a cold front, my friends. That's a big difference in one day from another. Our temperature right now feels like temperature 29 in Atlanta. Feels like it's 29. Feels like 34 in Athens, 17 in Blairsville, 20 in Clayton. And as we zoom out that map, you can see the cold situated all across the eastern U.S. So that cold has arrived in, of course, Chicago, Cleveland, out towards Buffalo, New York as well. The front hasn't quite cleared Boston yet, so that's why we're seeing that it is not that cold there. But here's the setup, big dip in the jet stream. We had over the weekend, what happened was we have this polar vortex circulation, which is just locked into place across the northern pole. And when the jet stream, the circulation around that, weakens a little bit, it becomes more erratic and it sends spells of cold air south. Well, that's exactly what played out over the weekend, and now we have this big dip in the jet stream, and that cold, dry Arctic air has spilled south. So we're cold for now. It is only with us for 24 more hours, and then it's retreating. Right now, 39 in Atlanta. You can see 40s to the south and east, 28 in Blairsville, 34 in Dalton, 40 in Rome at the moment. Next 12 hours, we've already hit our high for the day. Temperatures are going to be crashing as we approach sunset. The wind chills are going to be falling from around 30 down to the low 20s after sunset tonight. And we'll start off tomorrow morning with lows in the 20s and feels like temperatures in the upper teens and low 20s. Cold, still breezy tonight, not as windy as where we are now, but yeah, it's going to be a chilly one out there, a cold one out there tomorrow morning. In fact, I'll show you tomorrow morning's low, 27 in Atlanta. You see 19 up in Blairsville. Wind chills tomorrow morning, almost area-wide in the teens. There is a freeze warning in effect for all of North Georgia, with the exception of Rabun and Habersham counties, which already had a freeze that ended their growing season. This is going to be the only time we see this type of graphic this fall, because after now, the growing season's over, as they say, so there's no need for these freeze warnings. It's going to be cold. We expect it to be cold. We're getting further into the fall, into the winter, and it's just going to get cold at times. Okay, let me talk about the warming trend, though. We are seeing this cold retreating very quickly this week. By tomorrow afternoon, we're close to 50. By Wednesday afternoon, we are in the 60s, and then we're close to 70 at the end of the week. So this is a very short-lived cold snap. You can see our low temperatures, 27 tonight, 37 Wednesday. I think the winds are going to be lighter tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. So I do expect some frosty spots waking up on Wednesday morning across North Georgia. The air is still really dry, but the dew points come up a little bit by Wednesday morning. So we could see some frosty spots. Thursday, 46. And then by the end of the weekend, we are up in the mid-40s for those low temperatures and climbing to the 50s, because next Monday could be our next chance of rain. In the meantime, though, cold. And for the afternoon, tracking some of those flurries moving in and snow showers in those higher elevations. It'll stay blustery and cold through the day today. Cold start tomorrow morning, back to a high of 49 in the afternoon. And then you see the 60s moving in. Looks like a great finish to the week and start to the weekend. By Sunday night and Monday, those rain chances will start to increase again. But in the meantime, it's looking cold for now, but much better by the end of the week in North Georgia. We will be back on 24/7 Weather Impact at 3 o'clock. We're going to have an extended live update, show you some of those cameras from across North Georgia. Again, right now, I've been watching our camera across. Let's pull up that camera again. This is our camera in Sandy Springs. The wind are blowing. We can see those dark clouds in the distance. And then here's our camera up in Blue Ridge, where we're seeing in Fannin County. They did an early release today. I've been watching. We had one good burst of snow flurries and snow showers right around noon today. Now we're kind of in a lull. There are more snow showers upstream across Tennessee. You can see some of those moving in through northwest Georgia. And as we go into the afternoon, it's this stuff up to our north that we'll watch pivot in later on as we get closer to sunset. So we'll be tracking those and back on here at 3 o'clock today, tracking those snow showers and the Arctic blast moving through. Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Melissa Noor with this 11 Live weather impact extended update. Thank you to those of you watching us on 11 Live Plus. There are some of you watching us on YouTube right now. And also we are live on our 11 Live Facebook page as we track the coldest air of the season so far into North Georgia. And yes, some snow showers and even snow flurries working into parts of the region. In fact, we're hearing from the Douglas County Emergency Management Association that there are flurries in Douglas County falling right now. We've got some flurries in Forsyth County as well. So we're going to talk about that and who could see snow showers over the rest of the day today. But here's kind of the big picture headlines that we're tracking. Number one, it is cold. It's windy out there right now. We've got the temperatures that are in the 30s. The wind chills are down below the freezing mark, and that cold air is not going anywhere between now and tomorrow morning. That's because as the sun sets, it's still breezy now, it's windy, but the winds will calm down ever so slightly, and the cold air really settles in. That'll drop us down below the freezing mark to the 20s for the first time this season. We're also watching some snowfall that is coming down. We've actually been watching those flurries earlier this afternoon up in Blue Ridge. This camera not showing as much snow shower action now as it was earlier, but where we actually are seeing some snow shower action is in the metro. This is our live camera on top of Northside Hospital. It's kind of hard to see, but you might see some little specks falling across the screen. Those are snow flurries. Yes, there are snow flurries in Metro Atlanta right now. Also just got a report from southern Forsyth County of more of those snow showers, those flurries that are falling there. Bottom line, even though we may see flurries here in the metro, and we are this afternoon, I do not expect them to stick and accumulate here. Where I do expect the snow to stick and accumulate is up across the North Georgia mountains. So we are going to see the snow sticking and accumulating there. Here in the metro, we've got some of these snow showers moving in right now, but they're not going to be with us for the entire evening today. You can see right now, I'll actually take this radar, and it's kind of hard to see on our single site radar because it's going to show you in the wrong color. But bottom line is, wherever you see something on this map, there are flurries or melting snowflakes that are falling from the sky. These are not intense and really heavy and sticking, but they are flurries. So we're seeing those up across 75 and 575. We're seeing some of those snow flurries just north of our studio right now, up 85 into Gwinnett County, and we're also seeing some snow flurries up 75 in towards Bartow County, and more snow is coming. I want to zoom out this radar so you can see what is upstream of us, and that is a whole new batch of snow showers that are going to be pivoting and diving southeast from Tennessee. Right now those snow showers are crossing the I-40 corridor. As we get closer to sunset this evening, more of those are going to be working into the North Georgia mountains here as well. So we are expecting some snow to fall and eventually stick to grassy and elevated surfaces. There's a winter weather advisory in effect through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And this is because those upslope snow showers could start to stick and accumulate, especially after sunset this evening. This is going to be kind of a fluffy, powdery snow. The snow ratio is not going to be that typical Georgia snow, which is really wet and heavy. These are going to be much smaller little dendrites, little smaller snowflakes, little flurries, and better bursts of snow that could stick and accumulate, especially on grassy and elevated surfaces at first. And then as the sun sets, some of those bridges, overpasses, or in the higher elevations, we could see some of that snow sticking to those surfaces as well and create some slick spots. What I will tell you though is right now though, the ground temperatures are, we've also got, let's see here, Daniel Westbrook, our emergency manager in Cherokee County, also saying moderate snow flurries at the Cherokee County Emergency Operations Center in Canton as well. So I just keep getting more messages in of who's seeing snow and who's not seeing snow quite yet. Bottom line, ground temperatures at the moment are still above freezing. Remember how warm it was outside yesterday and how warm it was outside on Saturday? Well, the ground holds in that heat for longer. It does not cool off as quickly as the air. So as the snow initially comes down, anything that falls to the ground is not going to stick and ice over. It's going to melt because the ground is too warm. But as the sun sets tonight, some of those ground temperatures, especially on the bridges and overpasses, and now that we've been cold throughout the day today, those ground temperatures will start to drop, so that's why we could see some slick and slushy spots on some roadways. Now, how much snow are we talking about? Well, there's some differences in models, okay? This is our in-house graph model, and this is showing you it's those higher elevations. So as you're driving near Chastity and Suches and, you know, the Richard Russell Parkway up there north of Helen in White County, those areas could pick up an accumulation of about an inch or so. Okay, so this is our in-house graph model. The HRRR model, the high resolution rapid refresh, has been coming in more aggressive today with some of those amounts in kind of northern White County, Towns, Union counties, and towards Raven County, showing that there could be some snowfall accumulations that are an inch to an inch and a half. Now, this is what's falling. It's not what's actually going to accumulate, so we have to take that into mind that this is that model was showing you a 10-to-1 ratio, 10 inches of snow for every 1 inch of water equivalency. We have more of fluffy, powdery snow, so our snow ratios are much higher. That means we could see 15 to 20 to 1 ratio, meaning 15 to 20 inches of snow for every 1 inch of water equivalency. So it's a powdery snow. You might get more falling out of the sky, but does it all stick and accumulate? No, it doesn't all stick and accumulate, but grassy elevated surfaces will first see that moving in. Okay, here's the forecast track, and this is showing you as we head into the early evening hours, we see more of that snow shower action picking up across the higher elevations, especially just past sunset, I think. Then as we get closer to midnight tonight, we lose the energy. A lot of that energy to produce snow showers is going to move across the Carolinas, so we will see that chance of snow winding down in the overnight. So that's our forecast track, our in-house graph model. I do want to show you the HRRR model. Let's see here. I'm going to pull it up, and thank you if you are, here we go. This is what I want. So this is our HRRR model. And so this one, you can see, we see the snow showers increasing as we get closer to sunset, just in that little northeast corner of the state. And then we'll get closer to midnight tonight, and those snow showers wind down as well. So that is a possibility this evening and overnight. And then once we get past midnight tonight, we should see that chance of snow showers really calming down. We've been watching those kind of mean snow showery, squally clouds coming in here to the Atlanta area. The camera has been shaking in those gusty winds, and we continue seeing our temperatures drop here in Atlanta. At 1 o'clock this afternoon, at noon actually, we were at 42, then we dropped to 41, then we dropped to 39 at the last hour. Now at 3 o'clock, we're down to 38. So that is a drop in the temperatures that we continue seeing this afternoon. So we've already hit our high of the day. That was 42 so far. 2 degrees off the record low high temperature for the day, record warm minimum, so to speak, or coldest high temperature of the day. But now we're at 38, and that temperature change from 24 hours ago is rather impressive. At times today, because that front moved through around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday, and so we saw these numbers going as high as 35 degrees colder than 24 hours ago, and it's still very sharply impressive. You can see the 24-hour temperature change numbers. That's how much colder we are now than 24 hours ago, running 25 to 35 degrees colder than this time yesterday. And our wind chills are down in the 20s now. Don't expect them to climb up between now and sunset. It stays windy and cold out there. Big picture, you can see the cold spilling south. Wind chills are also in the 20s up across kind of Chicago down to Louisville. And that Arctic air is here with us for a very short time frame. It is today into tomorrow morning. We are seeing that the Arctic air is going to retreat tomorrow afternoon. And why do we have this setup? Well, it's because there's always cold air that's trapped up at the North Pole in a circulation called the polar vortex. When that circulation weakens, the jet stream becomes a little bit more erratic, and it can send little lobes of cold Arctic air south. And that's what we're dealing with right now. One of those big dips in the jet stream, that cold, dry Arctic air has spilled to the south, and it's going to retreat very quickly by tomorrow. So it's really just today and tomorrow morning we're dealing with this cold. Then it will clear out and we warm up the rest of the week. So in the meantime, this afternoon, you see the clouds out there right now. They're going to be with us. The chance of flurries is with us in the north side of the metro, and snow showers will increase again as we approach sunset up across the higher elevation. So temperatures are in the 30s. They're dropping down to the low 30s this evening, and the wind chills are not going to climb back above freezing the entire day today. We are sitting with those wind chills right now in the upper 20s. We're going to fall. As we approach sunset, the wind chills fall down through the 20s. So this afternoon, we've already hit our high temperature. Now we're back in the 30s. Tonight we'll drop down to 27, feeling like 19. Tuesday afternoon, we're getting a little bit better. 49 in the afternoon, feeling like 43. So tonight, no surprise, there's a freeze warning. We'll be dropping down to a low of 27 in Atlanta. And one of the things I want to point out is these freeze warnings, you don't see them the entire winter. You see them at the start of the winter and then when the growing season starts in the spring. Now that tonight we get down below 28, that's a hard freeze, the growing season's done. So we won't have any more of these freeze warnings. Anytime we have a cold snap, we'll just tell you it's going to be cold outside. Okay, so 27 Atlanta, 24 Duluth, Marietta 24, Peachtree City 23, North Georgia Mountains teens and low 20s. Today there were already some early releases happening for several counties up across North Georgia. Fannin County had one of those early releases. White County was early releasing at 12:30 today. Gilmer County, I think, was already off for a teacher workday. But there could be more school adjustments tomorrow, depending on how the snow showers go for tonight. So we'll let you know on 11live.com if we get more info. Wind chills out the door tomorrow, around 20 here in Atlanta, low teens North Georgia mountains, mid and upper teens on the north side of the metro. It's going to be cold to start you off on your Tuesday. We'll take you into Tuesday. You can see here by noon, wind chills are in the 30s, and then in the afternoon, we'll see them climbing up into the 40s. So cold air is here, not for very long though. Okay, let's talk about the warming trend on the way. 40 degrees today. We already hit the 40s. Now we're in the 30s. 49 tomorrow. 63 on Wednesday. Do you see that? Big pattern shift coming. It is going to be a lot warmer at the end of the week. It is a very short-lived cold snap. You can also see our low temperatures are climbing up pretty quickly. 27 tomorrow, 37 on Wednesday, Thursday, 46, and then we'll be in the 40s for those low temperatures at the end of the week as well. Now, I want to talk about the dry air. Okay? This really cold Arctic air is also very dry. What I'm showing you right now is our dew point map. What is a dew point? Well, you know we talk about the temperature? Well, we also have a dew point temperature. This is a measurement of how humid or dry the air is. It's basically the temperature that we'd need the air temperature to be at to saturate the atmosphere. In the wintertime, okay, what do we often see around here? Dew points in the 30s, sometimes dew points in the 40s, really cold snaps, dew points in the 20s. When we get these cold Arctic air masses coming in, our dew points drop to the teens and single digits. When we get really, really cold polar air, you will see the dew points dropping below 0. But anytime you see the air temperature in the teens or single digits, inside your house, you are warming your air up to the 70s or the 60s, okay? The relative humidity in your house drops down below 10%. So you will have probably noticed today, you woke up and you're like, oh, it's hard to breathe or cough, and my hands are dry, I've got chapped lips. This is because our air is really dry. And our relative humidity outside may be at 20%. Well, when you're warming that air up inside to keep your house heated, the relative humidity can drop down to, 4%, 5%, 6%. It's really dry air. So what I want you to know is, if you're feeling that, run the humidifier. Of course, put on lotion and chapstick and all of that. If you don't have a humidifier though, and you want to raise that humidity in your house, well, there's a few things you can do. You can just fill up the sink with hot water. Warmer water evaporates quicker than colder water. That will help to release a little bit of humidity in your house, but it's not going to be an instantaneous thing. Steam the shower up. That can help. You could boil a pot of water on the stove as long as you're watching it. You're not just leaving it alone. And those can all help to release more of that water vapor into your house, into the air, and that can help to raise the humidity. The best thing to do though is have those humidifiers running in every single room of your house. And of course, that costs money. So the old school way of doing it is just fill up the sink or the bathtub with some hot water and see if that helps a bit. And of course, it's a luxury when you can take a hot shower when the air is so dry, because then you're like, oh, I can finally breathe again. So our dew points have dropped pretty significantly in the last 20 hours. Look at this. Yesterday afternoon, we actually had our dew point in the 50s at 2 o'clock, and then it dropped to the 40s and then the 30s. Well, it's been going down through the 30s, and you see this morning it dropped into the 20s, and then the last 4 hours it's dropped into the teens. So that's that really dry Arctic air that is here. And our dew points are going to stay in the teens and 20s again on Tuesday, even though we warm up to the upper 40s. By Wednesday, we see that dew point climbing back into the 30s. So it will feel better outside by Wednesday, not just because it's warmer, but the humidity will climb a little bit. For now, the dew point is really, really low. So you've probably noticed feeling thirsty today, your hands are dry, and you've got chapped lips and all of that. So that's another facet of this Arctic air that's not as exciting to talk about as the snow showers and the flurries, but it's something we're watching. And we're watching this camera right here again over the top side of the perimeter. This is by Sandy Springs from kind of the 285, 400 interchange there. And we've been watching some of those flurries coming down. There was one I just saw on the right side of the screen. So they're out there. There are flurries here in Metro Atlanta. As we've been talking about all day today, even if there are flurries, we do not expect in the metro area these to stick and accumulate. They will look pretty outside. They will throw you a curveball because you're thinking, oh, it's just almost 70 yesterday. It was 70. Where are we today? We're dealing with all this, the flurries outside. Well, that is our strong Arctic front that moved through and has brought us this cold change. So you can see those flurries slipping down to the south and east all across Metro Atlanta. Again, these are not going to stick and accumulate, but where we could see them sticking and accumulating, that's the higher elevations. Right now, there is not a lot going on in the North Georgia mountains, okay? There's not a lot going on, but do you see these snow showers across Tennessee? These are all moving southeast, and in particular, I'm watching these right here moving through Middle Tennessee, east of Murfreesboro, That's going to come down the east side of Chattanooga, east of Nickajack Dam, out towards I-75 as you're driving between Chattanooga and Knoxville, and those will come into the North Georgia mountains early this evening as well and produce that opportunity for some snow showers. So yes, we could see those accumulating, and that's why there is a winter weather advisory. It is a very dry, powdery snow rather than a really wet snow based on our atmospheric setup. But here in Metro Atlanta, if you see those flurries, it's not going to stick and accumulate. So winter weather advisory to the north. For the rest of Metro Atlanta, our advisory in effect is our freeze warning. Our freeze warning tonight, 7 p.m. to 10 a.m. on Tuesday. That's when we expect the temperatures down in the 20s. The wind chill for the bus stop in the morning going to be running in the upper 20s and low teens. I want to take it back to tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock so you can kind of see some of these lowest numbers we're expecting right around 20 in Atlanta, upper teens in those outlying suburbs, and 12 in the North Georgia mountains. So very cold and windy. This is about a month earlier than normal. Here in Atlanta, we average our first hard freeze, meaning getting down to 28 degrees or lower, December 8th. Well, it is November 10th, so we're nearly a month earlier than normal for that, but we're not record earliest ever. Those records for the first hard freeze in Atlanta is back in October, many, many years ago, because we talked about it this morning. In Atlanta, we have asphalt, concrete, buildings. Our records for the day for the cold temperatures are typically from like the 1920s and 30s and 40s, back before we had all the buildings we have now, because all that concrete and asphalt, all the impervious surfaces, they trap in the heat in the overnight. It's called the urban heat island effect. So it doesn't allow for our temperatures to get as cold in the overnights as what they actually are going to be. By the way, our record for tomorrow morning, I looked it up earlier. It's on a piece of paper over in the weather office. I believe it's 25 for tomorrow morning. 25. So we're not going to get quite to the record, but it is going to be cold. And anytime we get within a couple of degrees of the record, that in of itself here in Atlanta is impressive because, as I mentioned, we have so much development around the city that, let's see, I'm just going to check our Facebook comments really quickly. We have so much development in the city that we just don't set those record low temperatures as easily as we could. Now, we set record highs without many problems, but we don't set those record low temperatures as easily. Okay, let's see if I can find this. We were supposed to be live on Facebook, but you know, I don't even see it. So I guess we're not live on Facebook. I guess we're live on YouTube. Let me check our YouTube comments and see if there's any questions about the snow. And I appreciate you watching on YouTube. You can watch us as well. We have extended maps, expert discussions, analysis, and all of that 24/7 on your time. So you can watch that on 11 Live Plus. It's Weather Impact 24/7 is what it's called, and that is streaming on 11 Live Plus. Okay, so we do have a lot of folks watching on YouTube, but nobody's asked any questions. So that's great. We've got flurries in Peachtree City. We have got flurries in Stone Mountain. We have got flurries in Canton and Cherokee County, so a lot of folks are seeing those snow flurries out there. I want to take a couple more pictures of our cameras from across North Georgia. We've been watching the flurries. Yeah, I still see more of them falling there. That's from our Northside Hospital camera. Let's go up to Blue Ridge. I'm not seeing them there. It looks like it's really the metro that's getting them right now, and I'm also not seeing them out in... This is overlooking Chattanooga, Lookout Mountain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this camera so we can check out some of those other cameras across Metro Atlanta. Let's check out the Atlanta Motor Speedway. See if we have any flurries there. That's not far from Peachtree City. I mean, it's not the closest, but it's not the farthest. Should be popping up in just a second. Let's see if it'll switch. Come on. Oh, it doesn't want to switch for me. Let's try to put a different camera in. That does not want to switch. All right, we're going to switch number 1 instead of number 2. Oh, none of it wants to switch. One second, I'm going to switch the camera sources because I want to give you some other vantage points from across North Georgia as we're tracking those flurries coming in. So we've seen a lot of these lovely little flurry videos starting to come in from all across Metro Atlanta. Okay, here we go. We don't want to switch. There we go. All right, there's Echo Park Speedway. I'm sorry, Echo Park Speedway. I don't see any there. Let's check out Noonan. This is not far from Peachtree City in Coweta County. We see the dark skies in the distance there. Oh, the foliage is so pretty in Coweta County this year. It's really beautiful. I'm watching. I see the birds flying south for winter. I think I might see a couple little tiny little dendrites there. Let's check out our camera in Midtown, Georgia Tech. Oh, it's shaking. It's hard to tell. We've got that zoomed in all the way to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Let's check out Decatur camera. All right, here's our Decatur camera. Oh yeah, I see the flurries. Look at that camera shaking. That camera's shaking in those strong gusty winds. Let me pivot this camera around a bit. Let's check out, let's point it east, north. Look at that, isn't that cool? You can see, watch, it's gonna pivot around, and as it zooms up, you see, look, you see clear skies, and then when we get these little snow showers and snow flurries coming in, those clouds that bring the snow showers, they're just like mean-looking clouds. So we can see them. This is pointed northwest of downtown Decatur. We can see some of that coming in. Let's check out another camera. Let's see here. Where do we want to look at? Let's look at over Truist Park. Oh yes, we got the flurries flying at Truist Park. Oh, that's a nice picture. Do you see, it almost looks like little white specks coming across the screen. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can take my max full for you all. You see the flurries flying there? That's easier to see from that vantage point. So we've got some flurries flying there. We'll check our camera at Decatur again so you can see in person. Yeah, there's a couple blips. There's a few blips. Let's check out Noonan again. Gusty winds. I actually see bright skies right over the camera, so I don't think we're going to see as many flurries there at the moment. Let's check out Northside Hospital. Yes, I see more of them there. Now, up to the north, we're not seeing as many in the North Georgia mountains. So this is Dahlonega coming up. And Dahlonega is just cloudy for the moment, and we're not seeing them. Oh, we're back to Georgia Tech. And let's see, what else did we not show you? We'll show you the airport. Let's see if it's flurrying at the airport. Planes are taking off. Now I'm curious to know if, because we are seeing flurries coming south, if they would need to do any de-icing measures. My guess is no, because it's not a lot of snow shower action coming down. If you've ever been in a plane when they have to de-ice, if you have snow on it already or ice on it, they first spray this glycol mixture, this compound that is kind of an orange foamy look. And they do that first, and then they have the green colored de-icer they put on then to prevent new stuff from forming on it. So new stuff from forming on it. So looking okay at the airport right now. All right, let's go back and recap, and then we're going to wrap this up at 3:30 because there's other programming coming on at 3:30 here on 11 Alive Plus. So just kind of a recap. We have snow that is, oops, there we go. Okay, so we have snow. There we go. Snow showers and snow flurries that are moving in. The cold is here. The cold is here to stay through tomorrow, and then it retreats. So tonight we have a freeze warning in all of Metro Atlanta and North Georgia, and we also have at the same time a winter weather advisory in Northeast Georgia. This is where we could see some higher elevations getting better bursts of snow, producing some snow accumulations around an inch or so. This will first happen on grassy and elevated surfaces, and then we could see as the sun sets a little bit of that snow sticking, or moisture at least sticking and refreezing on bridges and overpasses, and eventually some of those lower elevations as well. So we remain under a winter weather advisory through Tuesday morning for cold temperatures. Our first freeze of the season likely. Right now in Atlanta, we are running 25 degrees colder than we were yesterday at this time. Our hour by hour forecast shows you a couple of those flurries still possible this afternoon. We are in the 30s right now. We are dropping down to the freezing mark as the sun sets tonight, and then down to the 20s by first thing tomorrow morning. Our weather impact alert just runs through tomorrow morning. As we get into tomorrow afternoon, we're back to the upper 40s, and then 60s and 70s the rest of the week and into the weekend. So it is a short-lived but potent cold snap. All right, we're going to see you over on 11 Alive at 4 o'clock. The news is going to start there. We actually have a live reporter who is headed to the North Georgia mountains to check out the snow as it comes in and see what is happening on the roads this evening as the sun sets. So we will see a live report from Galat Malamed up there, also tracking what's happening on the roadways here for your rush hour in Metro Atlanta as some people start to see those snow flurries a bit. We will see you over there on 11 Alive at 4 o'clock.